What it do, comic babies? I'm Bunk Masterby, and today is a good day. Do you know why today's a good day? I mean, you probably have a guess because you clicked on the video and you saw the title. So you know that we're talking about The Autumn Kingdom, which is probably my new favorite book off of this first issue. I've been so excited for this book to come out since I first saw the preview for it. Biggest reason being that name right on the cover, right there, Christopher Mitten. I've been a long time Christopher Mitten fan, going way back to his Wasteland days that he did with Anthony Johnson back from Oni Press back in like 2005 or so, 2004, about 20 years ago. And yes, this is a Ben Templesmith cover, and yes, it is autographed. And then same creative team moved on over to Umbral, which is from Image. Love that series. That was, I think, Wasteland was actually probably my first indie comic series that I was pulling monthly. I'd read other things as collected, but I want to say that was my first that I was pulling off the stands. And a huge part of that was Christopher Mitten's artwork that I just absolutely loved. But I don't want to make it seem like this is a book I'm just pulling for the art, because the other side of this title is no slouch either. Um, I mean, the reason most people are going to be coming on for this, Cullen Bunn, obviously a heavyweight in the industry. I mean, probably the only guy writing more books at this point than Jeff Lemire. I mean, so many books that are coming out. Usually horror, something creepy. Definitely getting some of that here. Um, you know, you can't see it, but right over there is an original page from Cullen Bunn's series that he did from Oni the Damned. There's a picture going up right now. Boop. It's probably going to be here. Boop. So, really excited about this team, and it was kind of billed as a sort of like pastoral fantasy gone wrong. Sort of family goes to a rural setting where it turns out there's more going on than than it seems like, and that was all I needed. I don't need to hear anything more. Being that I grew up in a very rural setting, longtime viewers know I'm from Vermont. You can go back, you can watch a video from when I went back to visit, and you can see kind of the area that I grew up in. But very small towns, very countryside, very sort of away from everything is where I grew up, and I'm not there anymore, but I still keep a lot of that with me, and I still think very fondly of that. So the setting of the Autumn Kingdom was instantly, I was just like, all right, I was already going to love it from the creative team, but also just like, this sounds like a book that I would read even if it was from no one that I knew. So I went into this expecting to love this book. And thankfully, with no spoilers, it did not disappoint. From the very beginning, had a big smile on my face, mostly because of the Christopher Mitten artwork. It was just so reminiscent and just felt so familiar, but also at the same time better than I've ever seen him doing. So the whole premise of this book is that there's a family of four that are heading out to this cabin in the woods for about 8 weeks. The father in this family is a best-selling author of fantasy novels. Um, he's writing this series called the Wraithbound Queen, and he's having a little bit of writer's block on the current project that he's working on, and he's hoping to kind of get those creative juices flowing and getting out here. And it starts, and it doesn't tell you this at the beginning, but it's the first page, depicting the scene from one of his books, and so you get kind of a fantasy setting. And I just have to read you this opening passage because I think This is such a way to start a book. And so, the Empress of Ghost, the wraith-bound queen, trudged ever closer to the Stygian citadel. Here in this hell shadow, she would face the woman who murdered everyone else Therial had loved. Here, she would pay her sister back 1,000-fold. Like, you just get that to start with, and you get this awesome Christopher Minton artwork, and it's just like, yes, I am there, I am in this. It starts off just rocketing out, and then it kind of pulls you back, and you find out that these are some prose passages that are being delivered, and then it ends up being a family story going out in the woods, and just like, again, all of these things. It's like they decided they were gonna write a book for me. So I'm sucker for a dad book. I'm a sucker for family coming together. But suffice to say that once they get to the this cabin that they're out in the woods, things don't go quite as they anticipate. Things happen. There may not, or there may be some forces there beyond the natural world that they hadn't anticipated. And really, this first issue, like most first issues, is kind of set up for what's going to be coming from here. We don't really. I think a good issue one really should basically be asking you the questions that the rest of the series is going to answer, and that's very much what we get here with this one. So we get the setting, we meet the characters, sort of everything is built, and then it takes that and gives us some questions that are going there. I don't want to give any spoilers. It honestly, I would say that there's probably not much you could spoil with this issue one to begin with, since again, really, this is setting up for everything that's happening through there. But I really would love for each and every one of you to go out and experience this book on your own. I know I'd had this book pulled, long before FOC. Basically, as soon as I heard that Christopher Minton was on a new book and what it was, I immediately called my shop to get it added to my pull list. I didn't see any copies on the table, which is not necessarily unusual for my shop for Oni Press books. I would talk to your shop. It's an issue one. I feel like if your shop doesn't have any on hand, they should be able to order some. But I am really, really excited about this book. This was a great debut. The art is absolutely killer, and I say that not just meaning the art, the line work from Christopher Minton, which absolutely is. I'll be honest, I don't love the way he draws the dad's face. He's a little too smiley. I think he's trying to go for charming dad, and I think he leans a little bit too into sort of. It's almost like a little, when you pull the smile a little too much, you get a little instead of like comforting. But especially the fantasy segments are done perfectly. The kids look like kids. The mom looks like a mom. Everything, the setting that they're in is absolutely beautiful. But then the color palette that they use for this, I'm a really big fan of when books sort of limit themselves along the palette that they're doing, and sort of take an idea that they're only going to use these certain colors and shades along with that. And that's very much in place right here. So you're getting a limited color palette. And one of the things that I love too here with this, speaking of the colors, is that the colors are by Francesco Segala. They're actually giving separate credit to the flatter as well, which I really appreciate, because a lot of times flatters are kind of just an assistant to the colorist, and you might get like a little byline, but they're giving full-on flat credit to Sabrina Del Grosso, which I think is great. And the artwork by Taylor Esposito is looking absolutely fantastic. All of this is to say that this is my favorite new debut in some time. I wouldn't be able to tell you when the last one is, but this is immediately going to be a book that is top of the reading pile. I mean, to put this in perspective, I read this book over Ultimates this week. This was top of the pile. And you guys know, I do not miss a chance to read a Dennis Camp book. But this got read over it. Take that for what it's worth. Again, I cannot recommend this book highly enough. I can't wait to see where this goes. I really think you guys should go out and check this out. But that's just me. What do you guys think? If you did happen to pick this up, what did you think of this book? Are you gonna continue? Is this on your pull list? Do you have a history with either of them? I'm going to assume if you're watching this channel, you've probably read at least a little bit of Cullen Bunn just because he's so prolific. He's written so many things. Do you know Christopher Mitten? Did you read any of his BPRD stuff that he did, or kind of any of the other projects he did, or are you a way back fan like I was and reading Wasteland back when it was coming out? Was this a pull off the table? Checking it out. Where are you going with this? What do you think's happening? What's going to see? Please let me know down in the comments. But with that, I've been Bunkmaster B. You all have been amazing, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.